While we're joining here, I'm going to ask you later, but jump into the chat on this Whova platform and let us know where you're tuning in from. It's pretty exciting to hear how many countries are going to be represented throughout these 4 days. So I'll jump in here. So welcome, everyone. Welcome to the second Global Youth for Youth Summit, brought to you by LookUp, The Social Dilemma, and AGL Communication. I am Susan Reynolds, the co-founder of LookUp, and am beyond thrilled to see so many of you in this movement to call for, demand, and share solutions to create a healthier, more inclusive and responsible digital world. 2 years ago, we launched LookUp with the belief that young people needed more opportunities, more platforms, and more agency to thrive in the digital world. We launched LookUp with Sophie Eng, a junior at Piedmont High School in California, who shared the LookUp challenge to friends and family in my parents' living room. And look at us now. The world has caught on. We need Gen Z to mobilize this movement. We never, in our wildest dreams, envisioned over 175 youth advocates speaking to all of you over the next 4 days. Our call to action is Together We Thrive. Youth and adults alike, challenging big tech, calling on lawmakers for legislation, and raising awareness around the world for a healthier relationship with technology. Upon the start of this summit, we have over 1,150 registrants from over 65 countries. The movement is global, but you can still encourage your friends and colleagues to register. It stays open. So please take a moment to introduce yourselves in the chat and be sure to include where you're tuning in from. I'll just take a moment to tell you that throughout the workshop, we have chats and Q&A in each panel and session. So become really engaged there, become active. You can meet people, you can meet them up later to network with them. So that's great. And throughout this will be recorded so other people can join in. So before we dive into the summit, I want to thank our hosts and impact partners on behalf of all of us at LookUp. Thank you to The Social Dilemma, first and foremost for creating a powerful documentary that has become the global sounding bell. This is our second summit with the Social Dilemma impact team from Exposure Labs, and we appreciate your partnership so much. AGL Communication out of the UK stepped up after last year's summit and became a formidable partner in activating so many of you in the UK and Europe. We look forward to sharing our LookUp UK AGL speaking contest over the next few days. And what would we do without our LookUp India team, 19 members strong? You've created such momentum with your enthusiasm and informative programs. In addition, we have 6 fantastic impact partners, all bringing different perspectives and audiences to our collective mission. Thank you to Children's Screen Time Action Network, the Center for Humane Technology, John W. Brick Foundation, the Digital Wellness Institute, Thread Media, and Games for Change. We could not have gathered so many without your support and outreach. Over the next 4 days, you will listen to, engage with, and cheer on 175 youth activists and storytellers, answering this global call for a better digital ecosystem. Let's give them all a round of applause or virtual snaps. So we not only have our youth advocates, but adult allies and leaders in this movement who inspire us. You will have a chance to listen to, engage with Senator Edward Markey, former Governor Deval Patrick, first partner of California, Jennifer Newsom, soccer star Needham Onaha, authors John Della Volpe and Bob Wigley, and our activists Gene Rogers, David J., and John Gedney. Our other keynote speakers include powerful Gen Z influencers Cenk Oz, Amanda LeCount, and Marissa Metz. You will be able to attend panels on mental health advocacy, a look at a better future with ethical AI and inclusive avatars, advocacy campaigns for regulation, and so much more. But this summit is not just about listening to amazing speakers. It's about getting engaged. Through our virtual Whova platform, you can visit our iVillage with over 40 exhibitors and their virtual booths where you can meet them. You can network and meet up with people of like minds and enter raffles, the leaderboard competition, and many other options. So explore the platform, explore the Whova app. You can watch the sessions on your desktop or through the Whova app. The desktops gives you a full view, and the app is flexible and interactive, especially for networking, gaining points for the leaderboard, and checking in while out and about, because we do not expect you to spend 4 days glued to your screens, but dropping in and dropping out and checking in with us. So I'm now thrilled to celebrate the global premiere of our LookUp social innovator, Maddie Freeman, and her NoSo November campaign, a short film that addresses social media, mental health, and suicide. The film was directed and produced by Maddie with the support of Jeff Worlowski, an Emmy Award-winning director of The Social Dilemma. So we will share this video now, and then afterwards, Maddie will come on and say hello.
One moment, please. Technical difficulty.
Hi, I'm Maddie Freeman. I graduated high school in 2019 and I'm a youth advocate for mental health. As someone who's had my own fair share of struggles with mental health, I know how hard it can get sometimes. I created this campaign, No Social Media in November, because through my years of high school, I knew 10 people who committed suicide. After receiving that phone call far too many times that someone that I deeply cared about was gone, I knew that something needed to change. Not only myself, but my entire community was struggling. I didn't feel that we had adequate access to mental health resources in our schools, and I knew that this needed to shift. Last year, I watched a documentary called The Social Dilemma. This documentary highlights the ways that social media can negatively impact us on an individual level and at a societal level. I noticed that I resonated with a lot of the issues they were discussing because I was personally addicted to social media, and I was also having a hard time with my mental health. What I didn't know was that these two things were linked. We were exposed to these platforms at an early age in middle school, making us one of the first generations to truly understand what it's like to grow up on these platforms, something that older people don't understand. That's why after watching this documentary last year, I started the No Social Media in November campaign. After working on it for a few months, I got to interview Jeff Worlowski, the director of The Social Dilemma, to be in this video to describe these issues more in depth. He'll provide an insider perspective on these problems and tell us more about this link between mental health and social media. I felt disgusted after learning about the ways that these app developers use our psychology against us to manipulate us to spend as much time as possible on screen. I hope you feel the same way after watching this video and it motivates you to want to take action in your own life. The two goals of this video are to educate you on these issues and motivate you to want to do something about them. I'm hoping that after learning about these issues, you join me in the No Social Media November Challenge. This challenge has 2 levels of participation, so you don't have to fully commit, But the gist of it is that you're gonna log off of all social media for the month of November. By joining this challenge, it will be a way for you to take action in your personal life, to take your power back over these platforms. Now I'm gonna segue to Jeff, where he's gonna discuss these issues more in depth and talk about the ways that social media is linked to mental health issues.
My name is Jeff Worlowski, and I'm a filmmaker, and I'm the director of two films called Chasing Ice and Chasing Coral, and then most recently, The Social Dilemma. Our latest film, The Social Dilemma, really looks at an insider perspective of what's happening in Silicon Valley. And not only what's happening at the companies, but how a handful of engineers and how these programmers have designed technology that have now gone at scale. And these are technologies that are affecting the entire planet at this point. You know, it started off as a small concept and in many cases an experiment or just an art project in the case of Twitter. But these things have grown to affect billions and billions of people, not just affect the billions of people that are on those platforms, but they affect everybody now. Even if you're not on social media, your life is affected by social media. And the film really looks at what are the underlying causes? What are the root causes that have caused these changes and what the consequences are of these changes, whether at the personal level, individual influences on mental health and safety from that perspective, all the way to the societal level, polarization, misinformation, the breakdown of truth. And this was a pretty broad and all-encompassing exploration for us as a film team. At the start of The Social Dilemma, we frame this question around what is the problem? And a lot of different tech insiders had difficulty answering that question. Part of what we realized is that this is a really, really complex issue. And there are a lot of different aspects within the tech industry and a lot of different causes for concern. For me, though, at the end of the day, having spent over 3 years now exploring this and studying this, I see a fundamental conflict between the business model that drives big social and the impact that it's having on society. We are each living in our own personalized experience when we go on these social media platforms. Now, people might think like, oh, what's the big deal with that? Like, I love that content. The problem is at a couple different layers. First of all, what it's showing you may or may not be accurate or truthful. The algorithms also don't care if they're truthful. They just want to show you what's going to get you to keep coming back. So if I can reverse engineer you and your brain and figure out what's going to get you to keep coming back, and I show you whatever works on you, that's the goal. And it doesn't matter if it's good for you. It doesn't matter if it's healthy for you. It doesn't matter if it's accurate. It doesn't matter if it's a big fat lie. Like whatever it can show you that's going to work on you is going to work. So it is literally reverse engineering what's going to stick to your brain. That's this phrase that Tristan Harris uses, the race to the bottom of the brainstem. Because fear, outrage, extreme emotions, things that make you feel bad about yourself, things that might make you feel like, oh, like that the whole concept of FOMO is coming from, oh shoot, like I see this thing that I'm not taking part in. The algorithm doesn't realize that it's making you feel FOMO. The algorithm's just realizing that you're spending more time looking at this thing. One of the things that we really learned is that the issue isn't as much about screen time as it is about social media, and specifically the use of social media and the correlation there between mental health concerns. But from the mental health perspective, I stopped using social media completely while making this film, and I don't miss it at all. I feel better in countless areas of my life. I feel more creative. I feel like I have more time. Like, I don't know, like all of that time of my life that was sucked into those platforms is kind of back for me now. So I don't know, I would, and I recognize, it's hard for people to get off these platforms sometimes by themselves. So another option that people have is to have this conversation with your closest friends. You can still connect with your friends, just not on those platforms, right? You can still FaceTime people. You can still use Zoom. You can still send text messages. You can still send, I use Signal all the time. So we can have meaningful interactions with our friends and family and the people that we love and want to spend more time with, without it going through a third party that's trying to manipulate you to get you to spend more time and to profit off of you. I mean, if people look at their screen time reports, like how many hours a day are you spending on social media? Just do the math. How many hours a month or a year are you spending on these platforms? And multiply that out over the next 30 or 50 years of your life. and think to yourself like, okay, if I continue on this path, how many years of your life are going to be spent wasted on whatever platform that just has figured out how to get you to scroll? And is that how you want to, is that going to lead to the most fulfilling life for you? Is that going to lead to the career path that you want? Is that going to lead to the knowledge and the curiosity and the things that you want to learn about? I don't think that's going to be the case, right? So really having a critical conversation with yourself around like, what is serving you versus what is not serving you? I often look at the line that we use in the film: if you're not paying for the product, you are the product. In the film, we talk through the rates of hospital admissions for people who self-harm. These are non-fatal self-harm, and then also for suicides. But some of the most shocking data there are girls aged 15 to 19. The rates of non-fatal self-harm went up 62% since 2009. And then the rates for girls aged 10 to 14 are up 189% since 2009. The 2009 reference is when social media became popular on smartphones. And so that's really when things changed quite a bit. The suicide data is even more startling. For girls aged 15 to 19, it's up 70% from the 2010, it's up 70% from the 2001 to 2010 average. And for girls aged 10 to 14, the numbers are up 151% over the 2001 through 2010 time span. In the United States and elsewhere. So for both of those reasons, I mean, I say this with all sincerity, like this is a huge, huge issue. This is changing the way we understand the world, the way we relate to each other, and just the way life and existence functions in our society now. And I don't think it's headed in a good direction. So for all of those reasons and countless more, I think we need to take action at the individual level and at the societal level. And it starts with reclaiming our own independence from these platforms. It starts with having our own mental freedom and mental clarity. Being able to have, a platform constantly trying to take your attention is really in conflict with your own creativity. You need your mental space. Boredom is actually a really great thing for creativity. It's the first step. It's the necessary step in creativity. But for individual and for societal reasons, I think we need to push back.
All of the scary things that we have discussed, we have the power to change. And it can all start with you. Until the developers of these apps redesign the algorithms, it's up to us to create a healthier relationship with them. Join the No Social Media November community by participating in the optional month-long challenge of deleting all social media apps off of your phone, and in its place, focusing on what's best for your well-being. By committing to this challenge, we'll find a healthier tech-life balance and utilize all this extra time on our hands to live better lives. Based off of everything you've learned so far, this challenge is the most effective way to counteract these negative effects. Deleting all social media for 1 month might seem a little daunting, but you'd be surprised how incredible it feels to be distraction-free. There are many benefits of joining NoSo's challenge, but to name a few, you might experience more authentic connections with people, happiness, creativity, improved mental health, and much more. Check our website to see reviews from students who participated in NoSo last year. There will be 2 levels of participation for this challenge. Let's start with the all-in approach. Those who go all in will completely delete all social media apps for the full month. This option is highly recommended to get the most out of the challenge. The detox will fly by fast, and it's the most impactful for your well-being. And remember, you can always re-download the apps once the month is up, so there's no permanent decision here. Also, if you really need to, it's totally fine if you need to use Instagram or Facebook for business or school every once in a while. But to stick true to the challenge, it's encouraged that you allow yourself to utilize this app for only that purpose and not let it suck you back in for any other reason. For those of you who want to join me in the all-in approach, I recommend outlining the things that you want to accomplish throughout November. An important lesson that I learned early on is that filling your time with self-care activities and healthy coping mechanisms is crucial to your well-being. Instead of using our phones as a suppression tool, this month we can build a plan for ourselves when we're struggling or bored. This can help us get out of this cycle of addiction that app developers rely on. It'll allow us to quickly begin seeing improvements in our mental health and allow us to become more present within our own lives. Some of the things on my list of healthy activities that I enjoy doing are soothing baths, painting, journaling, exercising, and cleaning. After a bit of practice, you can actually train your mind to instantly turn to these things whenever you're feeling depressed or anxious, instead of reaching to your phone or other devices. We can use this same trick to come up with a personalized list of things that you enjoy that you can turn to when you become tempted to re-download social media. In past years, those who made their own lists of healthy coping mechanisms had high success rates and were more positively impacted by this challenge than those who didn't. The hours and hours a day you used to spend on your phone will now be filled with creative routines that will build long-lasting habits that can help improve your life for years to come. Now, if you can't commit to the all-in approach, but you still want to be a part of this challenge, you can commit to the halfway-in approach. This consists of altering your relationship with these apps instead of fully logging off. Here's some tips and alternative resources to help decrease the amount of time you spend on social media. My first tip is to download an app called Moment. It allows you to do a 2-week boot camp that has small daily challenges and helps immensely with decreasing screen time. This app makes it fun to decrease your usage by giving you encouragement and even more useful tips. My second tip is that it's crucial to evaluate the way you use an app. Avoiding apps that allow you to continuously scroll forever on a feed is one of the best ways to avoid falling back into tech addiction. My last tip is to head to settings to set screen time limits on specific apps to limit the amount of time you spend on them on a daily basis. Another critical way you can avoid social media's manipulation tactics is by turning off all notifications. At the end of the day, you really don't need to instantly see who Snapchatted you a corner of their face. This will help eliminate the temptation to constantly be checking your phone. Remember, all of this is optional, but I can promise it will change your life for the better. I hope you took something away from this video, and I cannot wait to participate in No Social Media November with you. To get started and officially join the challenge, go to NoSoNovember.com and click Join Challenge. That way we can add you onto our interactive newsletter for the month. I will be participating alongside you and sending you motivational emails and nuggets of kindness during this challenge for those who sign up. I wish you all the best, and with your help and participation, we can make a change to live healthier, better lives together. Thank you. And just so you know, you are loved!
So thank you, Maddie. What an amazing example of what youth can do. And how important Gen Z is. So we just have a couple of moments, but Maddie, I would love for you to just tell us, how you got involved and how you made this film.
Thank you so much, Susan, and thank you so much, everyone, for watching my video. I feel so grateful to be a part of this because the only reason that I was able to create this video and make this challenge as big as it's gotten is because of LookUp and the grant competition. So I heavily encourage anyone, if you have any tech-related ideas, to sign up and join this challenge. I forget what it's called, but I think it was the LookUp Grant Spotlight Challenge. I don't know if that's the correct wording, but whatever that's called, it's such an amazing opportunity. I had so many awesome relationships with my mentor. I had so many opportunities that I could have never imagined to push this video and to create my campaign in the best way possible. So thank you so much. And if anyone's interested in joining the challenge, head to my website or to learn more, you can always reach out and email. But thank you so much for this opportunity.
Awesome. Thanks, Maddie. Our new title, which is a little confusing, is the LookUp Startup Innovation Challenge, and you'll be able to learn about that more as we move on. But you can also visit Maddie, NoSo Social November, in our exhibitors booth in the iVillage. And if you missed the video, it will be shown there. You can engage with Maddie. So thank you so much. In about 5 minutes, we're going to start with our amazing influencer, Gen Z influencer, Marissa Mitz. And she will be interviewed by Samantha Carpenter from Dartmouth Magnuson Center for Entrepreneurship. And we're thrilled to have you here and to lead off the summit. So see you around. Bye.